All right, y'all. You know what? The more and more I look at this, the more I think I'm right. Y'all are going to recall that I said I wanted to see the UCLA backcourt. You know, I want Zach Levine and Lonzo Ball. The only news circulating right now, and I literally, before I started this, I listened to Woj and Lowe with their trade special talk about Lonzo. And it seems like all the other teams are kind of like died off a little bit. And it's just Chicago and the Pels. And I don't see any other possible deals on the table. Apparently, according to Woj, the Hawks are done trying to negotiate. They're not going to make a move. Okay. Um, the Clippers really don't have anything to give, which I already knew that. Uh, and then there's the Knicks, which they have pieces they could give. They have forwards, which the Pels kind of need. Um, Someone like a Kevin Knox, was taken pretty high, who still has, I think, potential to be a good player in the league. Um, and they got some other players and stuff too. I I don't know how much of a player they'll be in this all. And apparently, it seems like the Pelicans are trying to get off of Steven Adams or Eric Bledsoe, and they're trying to incentivize taking, um, one of those contracts with like a draft pick too, and maybe even Lonzo Ball. And so that's something I think you'd have to look to, um, in a possible trade, especially if they're getting other teams involved. I don't see how you get off one of those players without Lonzo. And so it's more and more looking like it's going to be Chicago. I don't really see. I mean, Miami could sneak in and make a deal. Um, Toronto could potentially. The Celtics could too because they got a ton of draft picks. There's teams out there that can make deals, but there's no reports on them. Like Shannon Sharp said, where there's smoke, there's fire. We keep hearing about Chicago in New York, but really, all the reports right now, Chicago, 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 which means there's some talk going on there. There's definitely something brewing between those two teams. Now, they got less than a day to get this done now. As time gets closer, we're going to see what happens. Um, if they can't deal Lonzo, which is a possibility, then they're stuck with him for the rest of the season, and then they're going to have to. What I think is the likely route is sign and trade. That was always my thing, dating back to the early stages of a potential, um, not trading him at any point this season. It was always sign and trade was going to be the next route because they're going to want to get something for Zoe. Now, that's if both franchises decide they want to cooperate and they work out a deal with Zoe. Um, Otherwise, Bulls just come up there, offer their 20 plus million, and say, "All right, Pels, what are you gonna do?" And just go with it from that. So it looks like Zoe probably is going to be a Bull, by the end of the week. I keep forgetting to turn this on. There, y'all. Okay. I haven't watched a ton of the Bulls this year. And I think after I make this video, I might go work a little bit, do some DoorDash stuff to make some money on my end, and gotta keep the pockets nice and thick. But I think I'm gonna spend some time watching some of their games to see what they got. I've watched both games that they played against the Pels. Um, Patrick Williams, I think is the name, is the guy they drafted. He looks like he's gonna be pretty good. I like Kobe White, but I know he's not what they want at the one. And then they got guys like I believe that is Young, Denzel Valentine, yada yada yada. Obviously, Laurie Markkinen is someone they're trying to get off of. I'm still high on the guy. I just don't think he's been in a situation where he's being used properly. Um, I think they also have Otto Porter as well. So they got some guys that could play, Saturansky and a few others. I'm not completely happy with the Bulls roster from what I've seen. There's a lot of place of emphasis for them to improve. Also got Wendell Carter Jr. by the way. Um, I am not. I'll put it like this: that roster could be so much better for what they're going to need to do. A backcourt of Zoe Levine is going to be a strong backcourt going into the future. One of the best backcourts because you got one god tier scorer and a god tier all around purpose defensive piece slash shooter, and you're gonna have so much flexibility with those two. And those two are definitely going to be in your closing lineups, um, and everything. And so we'll have to see about that. Is Chicago a trade destination? I'm not sure. I think there's people who will go to Chicago, but I don't think it's like New York. Like that's I think one of the benefits of Zoe going to like a New York is, or even LA. It's like, oh, those are great cities to live in. You know what I'm saying? And I could see the potential to get pieces to work in New York much more easy than I could see in Chicago. And from what I've been told, because I got some friends who were fans of Chicago, their front office has been garbage. So Zoe's going from one garbage front office to another. Now, the difference is they're high on Zoe. They like Zoe. Zoe wants to be there. So we'll see. But we'll see. Like I said, I do like some pieces that they do have. But I'm gonna have to go cut the tape and see, in depth how Billy Donovan likes to run his teams. His teams without Westbrook and KD. You got to play one way where you got those guys, right? Um, does he still want guards rebounding the ball a lot? He did that with Russ. Steven Adams will box out, and let Russ get the rebounds, and Russ will take it in transition and make plays. That's basically how he won MVP. That's how he racked up rebounds. There'd be games Steven Adams get like 3 rebounds, but he's boxing out people, so Russ can out athlete everybody into a rebound in a transition and go get 30, 40, 50 points. So I'd be interested to see his view on how to play Alonzo Ball on this team. Um, I guess he has ideas. And here's the thing: I like Billy Donovan. I think he's a good coach. I think he's an underrated coach, highly underrated coach. But this is going to be an interesting scenario. And the question is, what is it going to take to get this done with the Pelicans? I say the Godfather offer they offer is you just give up Laurie and Wendell and say fuck it. But that's giving up too much in a sense. You got to keep at least one of those guys, and they don't want to pay Laurie. So I think Laurie is off the table. Period. I think he would have been a good fit next to Zoe and Levine, but okay. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I seen somebody mention that Griff is trying to pull off a Godfather trade to involve the Pacers to get Sabonis on the Pels. I'm not sure about that fit. I'm not sure how that works. I mean, Sabonis is an upgrade, but I don't see for what Basically, it's a ton of picks and Laurie Markkinen. I don't see why they would pull that trigger. I mean, Pacers don't have a bad structured core. Between Brogdon, Levert, Sabonis, the Holidays, and Miles Turner. They really just need like a KD level player, Kawhi Leonard or something. They be playoff level, championship level contender team. But I don't know why you would do that, and put Laurie Markin in there. But hey, it is what it is. Um, this would be a hey, I'm Griff. I fucked up. Let me wipe away all my sins with a Godfather move that is like the greatest, or going to be viewed in one of the greatest, trades ever cultivated. I Yeah, I'm not on board with that. You know, my mindset is I think he's going to Chicago until I see otherwise. Um, and I'm pretty sure within the last waning hours tomorrow, there'll obviously be something like, oh, some other team is emerging as a front, for Lonzo. It'll be some team where people are like, what? Nobody thought about that. Trust me, in my head, I've been contemplating what every team could possibly want. So I'm not going to be too blindsided by a potential trade. The only one that would probably get me is Charlotte. I don't see Charlotte reaching out to get Zoe. Um, Nor do I see Memphis. Those are the two teams. I just don't see it happening, but we'll see. Um, God, I really hope he gets to Chicago. I want to see the Billy Donovan Chicago Bulls with Zach LaVine, and I hope Zach LaVine is happy and decides he wants to stay there and doesn't eventually want to cut bait because he's not happy with the front office moves. Because there was rumblings that he wasn't happy and he potentially wanted to move. So we'll have to see what happens because if this trade goes through, they got a certain number of games to try to figure it out. And if they can't get something done, I expect to hear Zach LaVine trade rumors this offseason. But anywho, that's all I got. Uh, we'll wait and see. Peace.